Now for Global Business Updates, Rotus Oddiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning. Monday morning to you, Dr. Abasi, Rufai, Ayo, and all our viewers. A lot to look forward to this week. We're going to be having, we hope we get inflation later today. We thought we were going to get it on Friday. This is for Nigeria now. Talking about October.
I thought it came down.
It's not out yet.
I thought I heard
so we're expecting
that it came down.
Yeah, it's not yet out. So we're expecting it
will come down,
on Friday. Yeah, 16% is what is expected. Anywhere from 16 to 17. We're at 18 for the prior month. So Tuesday, it's all about the NVIDIA, yes, and also the U.S. consumer. So Home Depot in the U.S., which sells a lot of home improvement items, it's like a bellwether for shopping. They're going to be releasing their third quarter earnings. Wednesday, we've seen all that's been happening with technology stocks. So everyone is going to be looking forward to NVIDIA's earnings on Wednesday to see what they say about exporting chips to China, what they say about demand, capital expenditure, and so on. So the AI discussion is there because there's been fears of a big bubble. Thursday, Walmart, The Gap, and Ross. Again, it's all retail. We're going to be expecting forecasts on them. Christmas is coming up, and so on and so forth. And then, not many of you are familiar with Miniso, which is a Chinese company. They will also be releasing their earnings. Speaking of China, Sinomart is now opened up at the Palms Mall. They've taken over where the game used to be. ShopRite has closed there. So you're just getting a real, the China footprint is
Sinomart is Chinese.
Indeed, the China footprint continues to widen in the retail space in Nigeria. So that's what we got to be expecting. Asia markets were mixed this morning. We had the Shanghai Composite Index down by about 50 basis points. Hang Seng was the big drop there. The Nikkei is down. We'll get to Japan in a moment. The Kospi dropped almost 3%, I think, on Friday. So a rebound there. Nifty in India up ASX. So Prime Minister Takashi, before she came into office, folks had previewed the fact that she's pretty pro-Taiwan, and she made a comment that if China is to make a move on Taiwan, Japan, that's of course Takashi is Prime Minister of Japan, could respond. This is this, I don't know if you guys follow Xinhua News, the China State's media mouthpiece. They've been posting things like these very provocative images, saying that she's dancing on fire with China militarism. So China issued on Friday a warning to travelers not to go to Japan, and we saw an impact on the Nikkei. The Nikkei fell, topics also fell as well. But just a snapshot of some particular stocks. Ishatan Mitsukoshi Holdings is a company that runs department stores, a big chain of department stores in Japan. They fell about 11.3% because a number of these businesses depend on Chinese spending. I mean, China, intra-Asia spending and traveling is driven a lot by China, even though their own property sector and there's all these deflation issues are there. Shiseido is one of the biggest beauty chains in Japan, and they also depend on a lot of spending from China. Their stock actually was down about 12%, but then it kind of paired some of its losses. It's still down about 9% when we checked. And then it's Sieko, I think is the name. They run, we've used a Disney image. They run a number of theme parks in Japan. One of them, of course, is Disney World Tokyo. Stock also fell by 5.6%. So we saw an impact basically on this from this warning that China put out for folks not to travel to Japan and so on and so forth. So we'll have to see whether they can solve this through diplomatic chains. Bitcoin is up about almost 1% this morning, about 95,000. But I mean, think of where Bitcoin was October the 6th, 125,000. So it's fallen about 25% from that October 6th high, and it's lost about $600 billion in market cap since then. So we'll have to say again, is Bitcoin a security? Is it a currency or a security? It's been trading like a risk asset. And so it's been under 100,000 now for quite a while. From Bitcoin, we're going to move over to Gombe States. And is this a Chevy? I think it's a Chevy. So Gombe States is spending...
It's a Chinese one. It's a Jack.
Is it Jack?
It's a Jack.
It looks like, but this grill looks like like a Chevy. Okay, but so they spent about Okay, but wait, if it's a GAC, it spent 2 billion naira on 16 SUVs, which brings you, it's 125 million. The GAC doesn't go for 125, so it's got to be a Chevy.
That's a high range GAC.
Yeah? All right, but either way, they spent 2 billion naira
Chevy, okay.
on justices.
It might be a Chevy.
Yeah, I think it's a Chevy. They spent 2 billion naira on, or a Cadillac, one of those
Cadillac,
two.
yeah.
Either way, for all those that don't know, Rufai is a big vehicle and a car enthusiast. 2 billion naira on 16 SUVs for justices. Now, there's supposed to be this 4-year cycle where these vehicles get recycled for the justices. Apparently, according to the governor, they haven't gotten these vehicles, I think, about a decade or so. They said the justices need to move around and so on and so forth. And now, whenever this comes up, we always say we need to look at the states. This is budget state of the states. And you can see here that Gombe ranks, I mean, they're in northeast Nigeria. They border Yobe, I think, about Borno in the north, Taraba, southeast, and so on. So 18th place out of 36. Gombe has one of the lowest IGRs, internally generated revenue in Nigeria. They did about 20 billion in 2023, I think, or 24, which means that 2 billion is about 10% of what they spent. They basically make 98.9% of their revenue comes from FAC allocations, which means in plain English, oil-producing states are subsidizing the revenues for the state. However, if we take a look at their fiscal performance here, IGR ratio to operating ratio is low, but if you look at IGR to personnel ratio, 55%, again, that comes from most of their FAC. Their CapEx growth in terms of capital expenditure, schools, hospitals, and so on, 132%. Their personnel cost has only grown at 20%. Meanwhile, CapEx has grown at 132%. So it does look like the state has been able to manage the money that it has gotten from FAC in order to push out the spending. I think also on healthcare and education as well. Health spending performance in 2022 was 80%. Health spending performance, 80%. They spent about 12.8 billion in 2022. Health spending performance in 2023 was 81%. So generally, that's also on health. And then on education as well, it looks like they've done all right. 87% in 2023, 85% in 2022. So there's a big debate as to, looking at the metrics of each of these states, how well they perform. Gombe, again, the revenues have to increase, but it looks like they've been supported by FAC. But based on the metrics on budgets, 18th place out of 36 is, I guess, somewhere in the middle. And then this interesting piece from The Economist. Relationships in the office. So, as you can see here, you guys should read it if you have an Economist subscription. The cost of dating your boss. They did some research on, actually, the minute of the Economist that did this is Emily Nix. She is an economist at the University of Southern California. And they looked at data, funny enough, from Finland, of about 30 years or so, between employees that dated their superiors. So check out this chart. It's a very interesting chart. Basically, this red line is for, they looked at women that dated their male superiors who were managers. Revenue, their wages and salaries basically rose about 6%. This is years since dating. The red line is if your boss is in the same company. The black line is for dating your boss in another company. So it actually did rise. Favoritism, salary increases, exposure. However, it's a double-edged sword. Check out this second chart. Do we have the second chart? Yeah, look at this. If there was a breakup and the relationship ended, their salaries dropped by about 18%. And why are you laughing? And they dropped about 18%. They usually actually sometimes left the labor force and it ended badly. So that's why I love economics, right? You be careful dating, dating your boss if you're a woman. If it's also for men as well. Though funny enough, the wage growth for men was way higher for women dating superiors. So it's a double-edged sword. Your wages might go up while you're dating, but if you break up, it tanks.
So you're advising?
No, I'm saying be careful. No, it's code of conduct. I'm just giving you the numbers. It's not wise. I would say err on the side of caution. Don't do office romance with your boss.
Don't do it in the workplace.
Don't do it.
Keep your business.
Why are so many people laughing and giggling?
They are laughing in the studio.
And how is this an economic issue? If there are two adults, consenting adults, the Constitution recognizes the freedom of choice.
That's right.
As long as they don't allow it to affect company operations.
No, but he's even saying that
there's no way two people will date, it will not affect one.
And as long as they don't go and kiss at a public event.
For the concept.
to affect morale in the workplace. Okay, maybe Rotus will write a whole thesis on that and distribute for some persons that may be of interest.